Welcome to I can't do that.
Welcome to RPG Book Club. Blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
One of the great things that came out of Hotel Transylvania.
It's
I don't
so
say
good.
blah, blah, blah.
Welcome to RPG Spookyclub, the podcast where we play a spooky video game for Halloween and talk about how it makes us feel. And boy, does this one make us feel. I am Sam Allman.
I am Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
And I'm from wow. Butchered my name the first.
Welcome to
startup.
my world.
Yeah. So it's Francesco JRPG T Nasso.
Awesome. And this year, we will be discussing the phenomenal RPG Maker visual novel puzzle game, I guess.
Quote unquote
called
puzzle. The puzzles aren't insanely hard, so
the first one's really hard, and the rest of them are kind of okay.
I still had to call the Nintendo helpline, which is aka texting Sam and being like, "How do you solve this damn thing?"
I was gonna say, like, the Nintendo hotline still exists. My God, what year
it's
is it?
Sam. It's literally just text Sam.
just
Hey, how do you complete this? What's the puzzle answer?
That's funny because I was going to be the Nintendo hotline for Sam, but you didn't need me.
If I couldn't remember the second one you asked me, I was going to tell you to ask Eli, because I was like, oh man, I don't even remember what she did. Okay, we had to get in the door, and the door was locked because of blah, 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 and blah, 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 and it worked backwards. So the game is called Dust to Dusk. It is made by C3 Games. It is at $1 on Steam, and it is localized by the phenomenal Brittany Avery, the localizer behind all of the Trails games, except I think Trails in the Sky Volume 1. I think she came on board to save Trails in the Sky number 2, and then she kick ass and took names all the way through Cold Steel 1 and 2 and most of 3.
It's Brittany, bitch.
Yeah, Brittany is amazing. And so I follow her on Twitter, and I had seen several times that she had posted about this game and that it was pretty good and whatnot. And I was like, oh, I'll play it eventually. And then on Monday, I think it was Monday. No, it might have been the night before, but it must have been because it was the day we recorded. So Sunday, she put out a patch that had fixed a couple of the translation errors in it. I was like, oh yeah, that game exists. Oh yeah, we were supposed to have already completed Costume Quest for Friday, and we fucking got for the third year in a row. So here we are. We need to do something else, and so we got this game, and it's great, and everyone should play it. If you have not played it, do not listen to this podcast and spoil it. Go download it and play it, and then come back. We'll be here.
Yeah.
It's $1.
We are now an MP3 that lives on your mobile device. We will be here for you when you come back.
It's true.
And you should play this. It is $1. It is great.
It is an entire $1. And I played it for 3 hours. I did, and by played, I mean, sometimes I was sitting on it for a little while because I was talking to people at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But, 3.4 hours, actually. Thank you, Steam. For your accuracy.
Mine says 12.4, but it's because I closed out my remote play and not Steam. So I woke up this morning and it was still going. So 8 of those hours don't count.
Yeah.
But
I'm actually... Oh, God damn it. When I closed out, I clicked that, yes, I liked it, and then it gave me a thing to review, and I closed it out so I could write it later, but now I don't have it.
It's not going to let you do it. Dang.
I'll have to see if I can write a review of it because it deserves it. It's only got 7 reviews.
Yeah, it definitely deserves a review. And there's no excuse to not play it. Like you said, it's only a few hours long. And
It would have,
really
if I had not been severely distracted, I probably would have finished it in 2 hours.
Yeah. It's short, sweet, a great way to spend your Halloween. So this will be releasing at midnight when Halloween starts. That gives you 24 hours to get it played, and then you can come back and we'll still be here on Halloween for you.
Yep.
But
it's on sale too.
Is it on sale?
79 cents from 99.
I can post a review on the store page, so I'll do that later.
But yeah, it's on sale for the Halloween special. So we paid $1 for it. You only have to pay 79 cents for it. So you should definitely do so. This game is great. And it has all original music. So we're going to sample some of it right here, right now. And then we will talk about what happens in this game. Seriously, pause this and go play it. I don't want to spoil it for you. So this game starts, and it has as you know, ghosts haunt this building every night at 7. So buckle the fuck up. Everyone's like, there's not going to be any, is this place haunted? Because it's going to be haunted. Everyone knows that the ghosts show up at fucking 7 o'clock.
It's fucking haunted.
Well, it's company policy. They say the company closes at 7 because there's ghosts. So just no one stay here after 7.
Ghosts are part of company policy. They're part of the regulations of the building. Fucking leave.
Yeah, it's great. We are playing as June Tsukumiya, and we wake up from our desk having slept until well past 7, and we check our watch. Basically, over this game, we check our watch, I think, 8,000 times, and it always says 7. Exactly 7 o'clock on the dot. And so we're like, well, shit, hopefully we can still make it out even though they've locked everything. So we start to wander the office, and everything is locked, including the stairs. So we go to take the elevator down, and a girl steps out. She says, oh, I must have got off on the wrong floor. But I, the player, was not buying it. I knew she was up to something. Turns out I was wrong. Maybe not wrong. But I didn't get all the endings, so maybe I'm not wrong. But
I got one ending, so
I felt she was up to no good right away. I did not trust her. I figured she was the ghost. But she says that we met a long time ago, but June doesn't recognize her. So we offer to take her downstairs before the doors lock, so we get on the elevator. But it breaks down on the 3rd floor. Maya's like, oh, it's probably just a blip, even though it's company policy that the ghosts haunt the elevators after 7 o'clock. So
that's ghost time.
Don't know why anyone is like, this is probably normal.
That's the allotted hour for the ghosts to haunt the elevator. Like, that's when they're allowed. So like maybe don't fuck with that. Like it's probably some form of discrimination if you are.
Yeah.
Wait, I mean, did either of you go first towards the elevator?
No, I explored everywhere else first.
So if you go towards the elevator, it says June says, "Hey, I prefer to take the stairs instead." And if you go to take the stairs are closed. So he's like, "Oh, I guess I'll take the elevator."
Oh, nice. He's probably like, I'm not going to fuck with these ghosts. And Maya's like, nah, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's cool, bro.
So we get out on the 3rd floor. We make our way to those exit stairs, but they are, of course, locked as well. So there's a ghost just like hanging out in the lobby. And if you approach it, the ghost runs away. And June is like, shit, I guess we're going to have to follow the ghost to find a way out. I don't know why he thinks that. Why he thinks the ghost would not be leading them to their death like ghosts do. He's like, he probably knows what's up. Let's follow him and find a way out. So we explore the men's bathroom, but there's nothing important inside. So June is like, all right, let's explore the girls' bathroom. But he's like, I'm not going in there. I'm not a pervert. You go and explore the bathroom. So you, she goes in and you get to control her. And one of the stalls in blood has written, "Answer me, but do not look at me." And it's fucking weird. So she comes out to tell June about it, and she and you're like, well, that's bizarre.
So along with that message on the door that says "Do not look at me," it has a bunch of fucking gibberish that I thought...
I was getting there.
Okay.
I had done it in the opposite order.
Yeah, this is in the bathroom.
Oh,
Yeah,
so I went to the
in
bathroom
there
afterwards. So
okay, yeah.
My bad.
This game is not very linear, so we're probably going to, especially because all of us stopped taking notes like almost right after this. So we're going to be talking over each other a lot and trying to hash our way through it, because shortly after this, it starts getting weird and intriguing, and we just buckled the fuck in and played it till the end. But when you come out of the bathroom and the two of them together, there's another door, and the door has blood on it that says, "Do not look at me." It's my pronunciation of what that says.
Well,
but it's
like they're in that big line of gibberish was the words "we home are."
Yes.
And I thought that was a clue of some sort. I was like, I kept trying to do like different variations of "we are home, our home we," like
Our home we.
are we homies? Different shit like that. And it was just like, oh, it doesn't work. Wah, wah. And I'm like, all right, I'm looking up a walkthrough because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. There were 2 walkthrough playlists on YouTube. Both of them have a criminally low number of views.
Yes.
Yeah.
There. Besides those 2, there's also one review of it on YouTube. It is painfully few views for this game. That's another reason why we wanted to push it, because it's great. But so in that line of gibberish, it has repeated letters ME. So if you do not look at ME when they appear in that order, you are left with "Who are you?" which was where the we home you So it's who are you? The one that in the girl's bathroom says, "Answer me, but don't look at me." So you have to answer that question. The answer
but don't
is
look at the word
June.
me. I finally got it.
Oh my
so
god!
The answer
dumb.
The answer to the question "Who are you?" is June, which is the password, and it opens the door.
See, anytime shit like that, like there's riddles about like this word, these words all are the same or whatever, and it's like they all end in E or something like that. And
yeah,
like I never pick up on that shit because my brain is always constantly overthinking everything.
Yeah, I live for stupid puzzles like that. So when I saw it, I noticed that shit was repeating a lot, and so I saw what didn't match without even realizing that it said "Do not look at me." The words I had started to figure it out beforehand because I'm nuts. But so we go through the creepy ass door, which the blood disappears when we get the thing right, by the way, which is not what blood does. It's very weird. But so we go inside, and we ask okay, but no, for real, what are you doing in the building so late? And she says, "I'm on the hunt." And we go, "What for?" And she goes, "I will never, ever, ever forgive her."
I'm on the hunt, I'm after you. Smell like a sound. Sorry. I just had to bust into some Duran Duran there. It's totally...
that's fine.
Totally impromptu. Anyway, go on.
But
I've made this awkward.
I then personally was like, what the fuck? Who is she talking about? And stopped taking notes. And I just buckled the fuck in this early in the goddamn game. So
that did not take long.
It did not take very long at all. So I think I remember fairly good what happens from here on out. So feel free to jump in if I'm completely wrong. But we explore this room, and it's a break room of sorts. And so we look through everything there, and there's like nothing important. So June is like, well, whatever, let's go. But the door closes, like slams closed in between him and Mai. So Mai is separated. And it introduces this game's main mechanic, which is zapping. And you can zap in between your two characters to solve puzzles in different orders. So I immediately zapped over to Mai to see what the fuck that was all about, and explored in that room. And there, as you explore, you find a piece of the carpet that's like peeling up a little bit.
Oh, I didn't get that.
You didn't?
I didn't see. I zapped. No, I zapped over to Mai, and I explored everything in the room. Did not run into the carpet with the little bit peeling up. So, like, later on that comes up, and I saw that there was, like, an opening there. But
so
I was like,
okay,
that's out of nowhere.
I'm completely confused as to how you progressed, because it makes sense here. So I'll put a pin in it, and we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
So you explore the room, and you find some carpet peeling up, and you peel it up, and there's a ladder down. So you take the ladder down into the air conditioning ducts, and she has an adorable sprite of her hunched over, crawling through the ducts because she's so tiny. And you can explore in there. You get a cute little CG of her finding a hammer if you go in one direction. But I didn't find that. I just was trying to find fucking ending 3, and I happened upon that. But so you eventually make your way, and you come out in the conference room that was previously locked. And so you explore around the conference room. I don't remember if there's any puzzles in it, or if you just go to open the door. And when she goes to open the door, she like breaks down crying, and the camera hard cuts over to June for you to finish going from there. So as June, you get the number from when you're inside of the room with Mai, and it says 2703. So you take it down to the door, and you open it, and you go inside, and I think there's a puzzle, and I think there's something spooky, but I cannot remember for the life of me anything about it in there. But after you do it, whatever clue you find points you over to the conference room. So if you walk to the conference room, because you unlocked the door as Mai, it's now unlocked for you. So you walk through, Mai is not in there, but the ghost is, and the ghost is drawing on the whiteboard a picture of 3 children. One of the 3 children is drawn in red marker, and the other 2 children are drawn in black marker, and it is spoopy. And I think I took a screenshot of it. Let me look.
So spoopy.
I need to replay just to see that part.
Yes. I did not take a screenshot of it because I stink horribly. But
you should shower.
Yes, I should. But it's spooky, and it like the ghost says something like super spooky, like a song type thing. Like one of these things is not like the other. One of these kids is dead. But like in a spooky way. And you try to talk to the ghost, and the ghost won't say anything, and it disappears. So if June tries to go to the air duct that Mai had gone through, he's like, oh, I can't fit through there. But the door was locked. She never came out. You have no idea where she is. So you go elsewhere and make your way to the director's office down at the bottom. You go inside of the director's office, and there you meet the hot character, Rin, who has gray hair, and he's really hot. And
I think he made Sam gay. At least a little bit.
He may have.
So I had almost a similar thing, but I completely bypassed the entering in the code. So I forgot it. Okay. And originally, when you go to that door where Mai is, it's locked. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But somehow, when you come back to it, it's open. Mai is no longer there. And you find a key within that room, which you can then just go and use to enter the room where Ren is. And he's like, hey, why do I hear noise coming from this room? And he opens it. And then Ren is there, and it's like, hey, what are you doing here? He's like, what are you doing here? And
nice head, think I'll take it. Nice head, think I'll take it.
Exactly.
What are you doing here?
It's like, I'm sleeping here. Okay.
Cool.
But, they reveal their long friendship to one another, as one does. You see your friend in a creepy corporate office building late at night, and you reaffirm your friendship to each other.
Your lifelong friendship.
Right.
Yes. And so
you gotta have the exposition.
Yes. So Ren is like, let's get the fuck out of here. And you're like, okay, cool. So you go to the stairs, I think. And you go down.
I think Ren says the stairs.
You go to the elevator. I remember, because they're like, oh, it's not going down. It's like, well, maybe the elevator's fixed. So you go back to it, and the doors are open to the elevator where before they were shut closed. And you're like, that's creepy, but whatever. Let's just get in the haunted elevator. There's a company-wide memo that says the elevators are haunted. Don't use them. Whatever. We'll get inside.
I bet David S. Pumpkins is in there.
Any questions?
And the skeletons are part of it.
So we get inside the elevator, and June presses all the buttons like a kid in a high-rise, and they do not do anything. And Ren's like, you have to use the emergency panel. And you're like, well, it just has random letters on it. I don't like it. It needs a passcode. I don't know it. And Ren is like, well, the last time I was in here and a guy was working on it, he said, it's easy to remember if you remember the months. And you're like, what the heck? But there's a calendar on the wall. The calendar says January, February, March, April, May, June. And the letters you can press are J, F, A, and M. So you put them in order, and it opens it. But that takes you up a floor instead of down a floor. So now you're stuck on the 4th floor, which is supposed to be abandoned, says the little location popper-upper. Says it's the abandoned floor. And so you go with Ren to the stairs.
The floor designated for being abandoned.
Yes. So you go with Ren to the stairs, and the door is open. So he's like, hold on. I'm going to go and check. So he goes all the way down to the bottom. Every other door on the staircase is locked except for the 5th floor and the 4th floor. And they're like, well, shit, that doesn't help us, because those are the upper floors, and we need to get down. So June searches the 4th floor, and Ren searches the 5th floor, and you can zap in between them. As June walks in a little bit, he meets this girl that's always touching her breasts named Kana. Like, literally every single different talking head that she gets, she is in a different way interacting with her boobs, and it is weird. Not like, none of them are in a sexual way. It's not like she's like milky Cocoa Puffs at the camera or whatever, but like her hands are resting on top of them or like to the side of them. It was distracting because she's stacked, and there's a lot of boob there, but she's always like drawing attention to it in some non-perverted way. It's just like a weird thing more than a perversion thing.
So many yabos. That's a Hocus Pocus reference.
So many bazoingas. But
big bonkin' dahonkas.
So you start searching with Kana, and where Mai was like searching through things and being cutesy and saying she wanted to spend time with you, searching with Kana, she's the entire time is just like, hey, June, wake up, you're in the Matrix. Like, she's like talking over you like to a ghosty type thing, and it's really cool. And I started to think, shit, all of us are dead. The island is hell.
Island is hell.
And I remember it being really spooky, and I remember there being a couple puzzles, but I don't remember much more than that.
It's like, you've been banished to middle management.
Yes. Purgatory is just managing a company that I can't tell what it does. There's just boxes upon boxes of copier paper everywhere. Like 99% of the boxes you open, June's just like, it's just more copy paper. I'm like, how many copies do you need, June? But
everyone seems to want to break the printer, so you can tell they've had a lovely time there.
Yes. I think with Kana, this puzzle is the one in the computer room where you have to, like, you turn the computer on, but I don't remember what it tells you in there.
So if I remember, and I might be misremembering some parts of this, there is a split with Ren and June in the sense that one goes to one floor to go check things out.
That's we're on June's part of it right now, but I don't remember what he does.
And so I think June and Kana go and they travel to I want to say it's the kitchen, and they receive a weird flash drive. And
I think so.
I think the point of this one is you end up going into a room that has a projector wherein you can take the flash drive and view what is on the flash drive. And it seems to be, strangely enough, a video of June and I want to say it was one of the kids. I think it was Ren, who the two of them as young boys being introduced to one another. And June makes a comment about how it's really odd that one, the flash drive was in the kitchen because there's no computer there, and two, that someone would save some old video like this of them, on a flash drive.
I don't think I did. I found that because I was in the projector room and I was trying to get that to work and I never did. So that might be an optional scene.
That might explain why I got to ending 3.
Maybe so. Maybe ending 3 is a lot harder to get than the other ones because all the other 3 endings are like variations on a theme, and I tried every variation there and could not figure it out. But so you do something else there, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, I think what it was is I did a bunch of things and couldn't figure out the next thing to do because I do believe they are in that room with all of the computers, and so like I was learning things on the computers, but I wasn't like solving it. So I think I switched over to Ren and got far enough on his that it progressed the story, and so I might just not have finished that leg as June and Kana. But with Ren, you're going and exploring, and Ren the whole time is like as you like investigate everything, he's like apologizing to June is his thing. So definitely spooky ghosty shit going on. And
spooky ghosty shit in this place? I don't believe it.
All right, and so I'm trying to remember what Ren uncovers and what his big thingy is there, but all I know is at the end of it is the important part, because at the end of it, June wakes up on the first floor, and so I don't remember exactly what we get out of the Ren section, but if you get far enough along, you're like, okay, I need to go meet June. You go down there, June's not there, and then it cuts and you are now June and you're on the first floor. Still can't get out the front door.
The Ren section, he basically he searches the whole floor, and he spends a bunch of time trying to track down the ghost. I think it's revealed during this section that he's has some sort of paranormal powers and that he can talk to ghosts or see them. I think it's said a little bit earlier too, but it comes
weird. I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, he just spends most of that section just following the ghost around, going, "Hey, I want to talk to you. Let's chat." And along the way, he finds some newspaper clippings referencing a tragedy that happened.
Oh yeah, and this is where we first get word of the tragedy of some kid fell in the gap on the elevator, in between the elevator and the thing, and fell 4 stories, precisely 4 stories, not 5. There's 5 in the building, but it fell 4 stories and kasplatted at the bottom of it.
I got the impression that June knew the ghost. It wasn't that he had specific paranormal powers, but that...
You mean Ren? Ren knew the ghost?
Ren, yes, not June. Sorry.
Yeah.
Ren knew the ghost, and that was why he could see him and wanted to talk to him, and not necessarily that he was some sort of ghost whisperer.
Yeah, that's how I had read it too. Either way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Either way, you're talking to ghosties and finding newspaper clippings, and we learn about the tragedy for the first time here. That's what we learn.
And that's why the 4th floor is the designated abandoned floor.
Yes. And we might have picked up on some of that with like the computer stuff with Kana as well. But I don't remember when we find it, because we're going to tell you exactly what happens when we get to the ending. And that's the part that all of us remember. But trying to remember along the way when we learn things. So we learned that there was a huge tragedy and some kid died. Obviously, the spooky ghosty. So June wakes up on the 1st floor. The doors are locked, so he can't get out. But our little zapping icon is on, and we can play as June, as Kana, or as Ren. So if we play as Kana, she is trying to find a friendship bracelet, she says, on the 5th floor. And Ren is investigating the 4th floor, and he doesn't say why. And June is just trying to get out of the door. And so you're just looking around in there. And so we'll do June's last. So we'll start with Kana's. So Kana is trying to get into this door that was locked when June was exploring just now on the 4th floor. And so she's trying to get in there. So she goes into the secretary's locker room that June wanted to go in earlier, because he's a nice, wholesome boy. And inside one of the lockers, she finds a diary that says, "Oh my God, I can't believe I lost my key. They're going to fire me for this. Last place I remember having it was the bathroom." But apparently she never found it, because we go to the bathroom and we do find it. So we use that key to go into this other room. And in that room, we find another diary where they're like, "Oh, I can't believe that Susie lost her key. She's just like the administrator or headmaster or whatever the fuck, important boss man, who always is losing the key to the door to the drawer on his desk, but he never takes the key out of his room. It's got to be in there somewhere." So you go to the chairman's office. That was the word I was looking for. You go to the chairman's office and you look around in there, and you'll eventually happen upon a little key in there. So you take that key to the desk, and inside of the drawer is a picture of something that Kana does not tell us what. We find out in the ending credits what it is, but Kana's like, "Oh, of course this would be the picture that he keeps in there," and it's dated July 27th, 1 month before the newspaper clippings say that the kid died. And so she puts it back in the thing, and you go to the chairman's door that we tried to get through at the very, 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 very beginning of the game. This was the room we started in. And so if we go to that door, it's like, oh, it has a 4-digit code, must be a date. So you type in 0727 and the door opens. And there's a phone in there. Every other time, no person has ever decided to pick up the phone, but Kana can pick up the phone, and it like does this big scary, like, makes you choose, like, are you going to pick up the phone or aren't you? So I saved before because I figured this was going to be her ending, and it's not. It's just this cute little thing where you pick it up and a creepy voice is just like, "You," and she drops the phone and she goes, "That wasn't for me. Must have been a call for someone else." So she goes to the safe. So she opens the safe, finds the friendship bracelet, and then it forces you to pick between Ren and June to do their chapters. So Ren's chapter, he's still trying to talk to the ghosty, and every time he comes into to a room, the ghost disappears. But when you first take control of him, he hears this obnoxious sound of a, he's like, what the fuck? This ghost has not been doing that before. So he goes into the girls' either girls' bathroom or girls' shower or something like that. And from the ceiling down pops Mai, because she was going through the air ducts before. So now she drops down and was like, oh, hey, glad I got through. Okay, why are you in the girls' shower? And Ren's like, I was seeing what you needed. And she was like, well, I'm coming with you, and let's get out of here. I don't want people to think that Mr. Administrator, or whatever the fuck his job title is a pervert or something. And so June does a famous anime ... and then y'all all leave. So every time you come up to the spooky little ghosty, it disappears, and Ren's just like, oh, I guess you're not going to talk to me then, huh? Or something. And so you try to look through all of those, and you eventually go into the boys' bathroom, and Mai pops out and asks you something. I forget what she says. It's been a hot minute. But she says something, and Ren and her have a conversation, and Mai talks about how she's so obsessed with June, and she wanted June to wait for her, but instead he was with that bitch. And Ren's like, what the fuck? And she's like, haha, just kidding, never mind. And so you then go into the projector room we were in earlier, and Mai separates from Ren, and you go and talk to her, and you have like a Persona 5-esque demon negotiation with Mai.
That sounds about right. The way you describe it is really is on point.
And so there's she asks a bunch of questions, and you have responses that you have to do that to appease her, because I wanted to ask all the things, but if you ask a question that she thinks is stupid, she goes, that's a stupid question, and you have to start from zero. But you ask her all the right questions to see what she's on about, and she basically says that Kana is the bitch because she stole June from her, and June now doesn't even remember her, but it was like her childhood sweetheart or whatever, but he met Kana and did all of this shit for Kana and wouldn't do anything for her. And Ren is like, well, what are you going to do about it? And she goes, I'm going to go find out the truth. And she leaves. So then, now that we don't have Mai with us, we can go and talk to the ghost. And we're like, all right, ghosty, it's time. And then it fades out, and we have to play as June now. So
before we get to June, there's some stuff I wanted to mention, and I'm curious if you got this in your playthrough too.
Okay.
So during a bunch of Ren's sequences, he starts to find out things about Mai. Earlier on, when he first meets with June, June says, "Oh, there was another girl here with me." And he says, "Hey, her name is Mai," and so he's like, "Why does that sound familiar? Who is this?" And across his sequences, he finds out and learns a little bit more about her. One of the things that's kind of peculiar and comes up in the part you just mentioned was he goes to one area of the office and looks through employee records and realizes that she was never an employee at the company. So he starts to question, why is she there, and what purpose does she have being in there? Obviously not being an employee. So I think that scene where you were like, they had a conversation and they went back and forth. I think one of the options there is to confront her and ask her, you don't work here. Why are you here? And
I think so.
She goes into a little bit of her backstory of knowing June. And even when you play with her in her kind of short little sequence, it's very clear that she does know June. When you're in the kitchen, she mentions that his favorite snack is apples, because she sees an apple. So,
it was apples. I remember her going on about his favorite snack, but
I thought it was apples. I might be wrong. Maybe I just
I don't remember specifically, but
that's a tangent. I just wanted to mention that. He asks about who she is and why is she there.
Yeah. And I never figured out. I figured that might have something to do with ending 3 because her thread is unresolved, but I could not figure out how to end it. So I know Francesco did, so we will get there when we start discussing the endings. So here as June, we have an option on which endings we want to get. we can right now, when we start controlling June, walk to the elevator shaft and it is empty. So we climb down the elevator shaft. This one tells you, hey, this is the point of no return. You're about to end the game. Are you sure you want to do this? And it makes you say yes 3 times. So if you go down the elevator shaft right away before you do any of June's puzzles, you get to the bottom and there's a spooky ghosty there. And he's like, oh shit, spooky ghosty. And then ghosty grabs you and you have to mash on all of the buttons to get away from the spooky ghosty. And then you run to climb back up the ladder. When you get to the top of the ladder, Kana is there and she's like, bro, you have to face the truth. Why do you keep doing this? And fucking long live the king kicks you off the ladder and you fall down to your goddamn death. And then the credits roll. And when after the credits, there's a post-credit scene where Kana is in the hospital and she fucking dies on the table. Like she's in a coma and then she flatlines. I had actually read it wrong. The first time I thought she had woke up from the coma, but I accidentally got the bad ending twice. And on the second viewing, she dies. And the nurse is not saying, oh, she's waking up. She's saying, oh shit, my patient is dying, and runs out. So Kana dies in that one, which is crazy. So instead, you reload your save before that big obvious point of no return, and you go and you explore the first floor. So if you go and explore up in one of the rooms, you find a disc that has August 27th on it, and you're like, oh yeah, this was because June has also at some point picked up that there was a tragedy at that time. Like I said, the middle part is a little hazy. I remember the ending really well and the beginning really well. Hazy on in the middle of when you learn stuff. But June knows there was a tragedy on August 27th. So he finds a DVD said August 27th. And inside of the DVD case is a piece of paper that Cthulhu has scribbled on. It is a bunch of nonsense all over the page. Right. And so you try to put the DVD in, but it's password protected. And you're like, well, it's probably something to do with a cipher. So you make your way to the cafeteria where there are some scissors. And if you cut the Cthulhu gibberish right down the middle, it says in perfect English, memory eternal. And June is like, I wonder why that's the password to this DVD. Oh, well. And so you go back to the room and watch it. And the video is of the incident, and so the camera can't really see the elevator. It's like focused on the break room right next to it, but you see June and Kana run by having fun in the break room area, and then they run up towards the elevator, and you hear June go, "No, Kana!" And then one of the dudes there in the break room turns and runs up and goes, "Oh my God, the child has fallen down the elevator shaft." And then that's the end of the video. And June is like, "Oh yeah, Kana must have died there at the end of the elevator. So that's why. That means that she's the ghost, and I need to go put her at rest." So if you hadn't have done both characters both the other characters' chapters, and as you've done either 0 or 1 of them, you now go to the elevator shaft, and he's like, "I know it. Kana is down there." And you go down there, and there's the ghost, and you hug the ghost and say, "Kana, it's okay." And the ghost is Kana's little child, and you're like, "Kana, it's okay. It's okay. You can go home now." And at the end of the end credits, there is no scene. So you load your save one more time, finish both side quests. You go there this time, and now you talk to Kana and to Ren, and Kana is like, "June, you have to face the truth." And Ren is like, "Hey, I fixed the elevator. I think you should take it up." And you and June and Kana get on the elevator, and they ride it up to the 4th floor. And on the 4th floor, June is like, "Oh, here's where you died." And she goes, "No, face the truth." And so now we see the same scene as the DVD, but with the camera pointing where we want it to. And they're playing, and Kana falls through the elevator. So June jumps after her and basically catches up to her, grabs her, and rotates so he's underneath her. So he's the one that goes kasplat, and Kana survives, and he does not. And it's sad. And so she's like, yeah, you always thought that you were a weakling. Like, you've been here in Purgatory or Spooky Land or Ghostyville or whatever the fuck because you thought that you weren't brave enough, but you just weren't remembering that you were the bravest, and you jumped in and you saved me. And I survived. Life sucked after I survived, but I did survive. And thank you for that. And so he then grabs the little ghostie's hand, and they walk off into the afterlife together. And it's a big happy sad times. And then the credits roll. And after the credits, Kana wakes up from her coma, and Rin walks in and is like, oh, it's been 20 years since you've been in a coma, but are you okay? And she goes, yeah, I think I'm okay. And I think June's okay too. And it's real sweet.
He's fucking dead, but
I mean, yeah, but as a ghost, he's okay.
Yeah. He's Casper, the okay ghost.
So how do you get ending 3, and what the fuck happens in ending 3? I did not find it.
So you're going to be a little bit disappointed, partially because for my ending 3, at least in my gallery, that's how I'm keeping track of this, is the I'm falling ending, which is the for the king, you get thrown into the elevator shaft. But there is actually another ending that you didn't. Yeah. So I have ending 4.
I did not get all 4. Okay.
Gotcha. So I do have ending 4. That was the only one I didn't hear of. And I'll tell you how I got it. So I tried to go for the total bad ending to see what would happen. I did nothing. Did not help Ren. Did not help Kana. And
I just did nothing at all. I was useless.
So I became enamored with what I think is a red herring at this point, which is if you bypass the elevator and you go straight for the front door, June will say, like, oh, I should go to the security room and find a key to open this door. So I'm like, this has to be the ending. You probably find a key, ignore your friends, leave them to hell and purgatory, to just do whatever, and you go living off, scot-free in the real world. But there's no seeming way to get the security key. And if you start exploring some of the lockers that are there, June will make references to like, well, I don't know where the security guards are. That's weird. I wonder why no one keeps a spare key around here. So it starts to become obvious that it's probably a red herring. But I was still intent on trying and doing a few different things. If you go to the file, there's a certain file that you find in the security room that you need to play in the computer to initiate a lot of the endings. There's 3 options with that file. One of the options is to say, I'm scared. It's either you open it, you say not now. And if you say not now, if you say I'll open it, you progress the plot and you go through the other endings. If you say not now, you just leave and you can do whatever and come back to it. If you say I'm scared, right, the ghost will appear along with ghost versions of all of your friends who will just basically make fun of you for not being able to face the truth and say you're hopeless and you're lost. A dark void will appear under the floor after your friends kind of like just enter into you, like possessor style. And then this dark void opens up and a hand grabs you and pulls you down into the floor. And the ending, and you just keep falling. And it zooms into June, who says something to the effect of, like, I don't know where I am. I don't know what's going on. Help me, please.
Where did I come from?
The ending is called Dusk. Yeah.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It is really cool. It looks like some Final Fantasy boss's hand is just, it's like some monster-ific hand is just coming and grabbing you and pulling you down.
It's a fucking floor master.
So what this game is trying to tell us is if you don't face your traumas, you're going to fucking hell.
Pretty much.
So you remember that part in the beginning with where you said, let's put a pin in that?
Yes.
So that apparently, like, finding that carpet square that you could pull up was not important to Mai's part of the plot, because later on when you see like video footage of her, there's like security cam footage that you find. You just see her pulling that up anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so how did you progress the plot as June if you couldn't open the door to go see the spook? Or did you not have to? You just found your way?
Oh no, like
how did you find Rend?
I opened the door to get in, and I did the thing where I zapped to Mai. But I just didn't find that carpet square.
Okay.
So you can play the entire game without zapping and just follow June's story throughout. So as long as you progress his story, it will change and sequence, and you can skip that other character's story. And I think they still do things referencing that arc, but you just don't see it.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
There was one part that I did have trouble with toward the end, which was Kana, where you have to find a key, and it's in the chairman's office. And I checked everything a million times over.
It's pixel hunting. You have to step on.
You have to step on a very specific spot, and she'll suddenly discover that there's a key there. And I was like, motherfucker.
And it's inconvenient. You have to kind of like go between the couch and walk like a certain way.
Yeah. The hint, if you get through the thing, is it's got to be in there somewhere. So they're expecting you to tap on all of the things to find it, which is not a lot of fun. But what is fun is our memorable moments. So we will listen to another song from this game, and then talk about all the cute little things that Mai says, and then we will wrap up our Holo Spooky episode. In true Eli fashion, Eli, do you have any? Or did you forget that we were doing memorable moments, even though we do this every week?
Why do you even ask? Just don't bother. Just skip me. Just pretend I'm not even here.
What about you, Francesco? Did you capture...
I have a few. Anything? I completely forgot about this section of the show, but I did record enough notes that I have some memorable ones that stuck out. So the first was in the beginning. There is what I think is almost either it's the same sound effect or it's something really similar, but it sounds exactly like Higurashi. It's basically
it's the Higurashi fucking. The game starts with the cicadas from Higurashi.
Yeah, and I was like, why are there cicadas in an office building? This is so confusing. Yeah, so that got me in, and then the next scene is a really cryptic quote by someone, and I'm like, this is Higurashi. So
the quote is by Jean-Jacques Rousseau, which I think is wild. It just all of the bookcases is just like, wow, there's a lot of novels here by Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Apparently June's dad loved Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and so did C3 Games, because it's fucking everywhere.
Exactly.
And it's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you have any more?
Yeah, so that was definitely a memorable moment. We didn't talk about it, but in that scene where you're Kana and you put the flash drive into the projector and you watch that video, that part for me was really memorable, where if you follow through with that scene, what ends up happening is after seeing that video, Kana leaves and runs away, and you're split up from June for a second, and she will remember everything that happens, and she confronts the ghost on the stairs, and then you cue to black to another character. I think it goes into June at that point. But
cool.
I liked, I just liked that whole little sequence, partially because I thought it was going to cue another ending, because you do play as June a little bit after that scene happens, and you go to a room and you find a note, and the note says, I was supposed to spend my life forever with him, and then he abandoned me, and you can tell it's clearly Mai who's writing that note. And then it cues a puzzle, and there's a smudged out word on the bottom that you have to guess, and if you guess it, which you can kind of tell by just guessing at Mai's personality and also trying to read the smudged out word a little bit, if you guess it, it kind of reinforces the fact that June has forgotten about her, and you see a very angry ghost that appears who June comments, I feel like I'm being watched, and then what the heck was that, as it escapes and retreats into the darkness once you go near it.
Wild.
So
that's cool.
Yeah. So to me that stood out. And yeah, I think those are my big ones. I mean, that ending with the monster hand coming out of the ground, that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Yeah, you got to definitely go back and try that one out.
So most of mine are things that Mai or June says, because Mai is adorable and June is a smartass, and Kana and Rin only talk about the plot, assholes. But so when you're searching the break room as solo Mai, you come to things that's like, oh hey, apples, there's June's favorite treat, or oh wow, all of these drinks, I wonder which one I should get. But you get to one of the cabinets and she opens it and goes, nothing cool, and closes it. And I just fucking love that. Just nothing cool. But and then when you get to the door, Mai goes, oh goody, it's definitely creepy, but I couldn't tell you what it means. And I just, the localization in this game, of course, is amazing. Brittany Avery is great at what she does. But another one that I took was of June, when he's investigating. You come to a trash can and he goes, to no one's surprise, there's nothing in the trash can but trash.
Oh, I did think of one. There was a line from Kana late in the game where she was saying, like, even if I could call someone, who would I dial? And I immediately thought, Ghostbusters.
Yeah, and then the last one that I have is the final shot on the good ending is the picture from the picture frame, and it is baby June and baby Kana and baby Ren all like hanging out in the park, and it's adorable.
My heart.
Did
the good ending was good. Really good.
Oh it's great.
Catch the Mai's room from that ending, the image that they have?
Oh no,
I didn't.
So
during the credits, there's a whole lot of shit that goes on, and there's a lot of things that I missed because I was talking to Eli about how cool the game was.
Yeah,
didn't notice it was showing me shit.
They show a bunch of the characters as they're really young, like growing up, and Mai's room is filled with pictures of June as like a little kid.
Shit.
And she even has like this little plushy version of him that she's like
hugging.
My God. But the really cool thing is there's all these pictures of him kind of on her wall. And there's one picture that's obviously of him and Kana, but she's like put something over Kana's face. So it's not visible.
Okay, I did see all the pictures of June, but it didn't register that was Mai's room.
Well, the only reason I caught it is because I watched that sequence like 3 or 4 times trying to get that damn extra ending.
Yeah, I just finished the game once and it was like, cool, I did it. Yay, good for me.
And then when we were like planning out the episode, I was like, so Eli, what ending did you get? He's like, oh, This was a visual novel. It had multiple endings. Good to know.
Yeah. I was like, I got one. Was there more?
Yeah. Thankfully, you got the good ending. You were diligent and didn't just walk into the elevator shaft, get the bad ending, and are like, okay,
no,
cool.
I fucking
depressing ass ending.
I almost walked into the elevator shaft because I saw that it was open, and I was like, oh, I should check this out. But then I was like, no, I'm gonna go do other stuff first, and then I forgot about it.
Yeah.
So I guess that worked in my favor.
Yeah.
But and like I did actually start saving before a whole bunch of the choices because it was like, well, you know, some of these choices might be important. They might actually change something, et cetera, et cetera. Wow, there was something else that I wanted to mention. Fuck. Damn it. It's gone. I've lost it.
But yeah, this game has like, it's like either 16 or 20 different like CGs in visual novel terms, the like drawn pictures instead of just the sprites or whatever. They have like 20 different ones to collect, and I have only got like 10 of them, so that we have barely even scratched the surface on like different ways you can do stuff. Sounds like Francesco got a lot more than me. But,
I don't think I got that much more than you would think. I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I got like 7.
Okay. Yeah. So there's.
Wait, where are those?
So
what?
In the gallery on the main menu, if you go to gallery, it has a square with a bunch of little scenes on it, and so you unlock those by finding all the different routes. And I barely have half of them, so there's probably more stuff in there to dig into. So if you didn't listen to us a goddamn hour ago when we told you to pause the fucking podcast and go and play this game, now you still have an excuse to go and play it because we didn't cover everything. And it's great.
I do have a question.
Go for it.
On the main menu, what are the question marks? Have those
I don't know
for you guys? Oh, God.
I still have question marks too. I'm very confused.
It's killing me inside.
You know what I never tried? Can you just click on the question mark?
I did, and it just made like a bong sound. It was like, nope.
Maybe it'll do something if you unlock all of the bromides.
I think that's what you have to do.
Bullshit. All right. Fine.
Yeah. But one of us will do it and we'll tell the other ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, this game was great. Shout outs to C3 Games. They are amazing. Shout outs to really the entire RPG Maker horror game like subgenre. It's surprisingly robust, and I have yet to play one that's not fantastic. There's one on the RPG Maker 3DS. I forget what it's fucking called, but you're like in the spooky ass basement that's just like filled with a bunch of clutter, and you kind of like Rube Goldberg your way through the clutter, and there's jump scares, and it's spooky, and it's great. This entire subgenre of things that exist harkens back to like Sweet Home on the NES and stuff like that, like early scary games that are on things that can't possibly be scary, and they somehow make it spooky anyways. And they're all really good. This one especially. So everyone go and buy a whole bunch of these. I want every single person that is subscribed to this, so it's like 200 of you now. I want every single one of you to go and give these people 79 cents and play this game. It is well worth your time. I highly recommend. But anything else before we end our spoopy night?
No, that's it from my side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. All right.
Whatever I had that I wanted to say was lost in the ether. So
yeah.
Fuck it.
Cool.
It's gone forever.
So this is coming out in the morning on Halloween. So I should tell you, don't take your kids fucking trick or treating. They're going to catch corona and they'll die, and it's not fucking worth it. Just fucking buy them candy. Jesus, stay fucking home.
We just bought us a bunch of candy. Like, we're not doing trick or treat. Ken even asked me, he's like, are we doing trick or treat this year? And I was like, no. And I told him, I was like, I did buy a big bag of candy for us. And he like from behind his back produced a massive bag of candy that he had bought, and he was like, so did I. Fuck yeah.
What we're doing for the kids is we're doing an Easter egg hunt, but it's a ghost bust. And so we're going to get pieces of candy, put it inside of a Kleenex, put a hair tie around it, so it's a little spoopy ghost with a spoopy head. It has candy inside. And so just going to go ghost busting inside, outside, upstairs, downstairs, everywhere. And it'll be a grand old time. But for RPG Spooky Club, I have been Sam Allman. Shit! I forgot to do the whole thing. Yeah, if you like us, if you fucking like what you hear, you should check us out at www.rpgbook.club, and there you can support us and get links to our Discord where you can come hang out and tell us how great Dust to Dusk was. And now for RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
I'm Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
And I'm Francesco JRPG T Nasso.
Everyone have a great holiday and holiday season. Maybe I'll remember to play a Christmas game in time this year. I probably won't. Good night.
Toodaloo.
Toodaloo. I've yet to play Undertale yet, but I heard that really popular song,
Megalovania.
Megalovania. I'm like, oh man, this slaps. And I was like, what is this? And I was like, this is from Undertale.
Yeah.
That's like great.
Well, you gotta kill everyone to hear it.
Technically, it is from a ROM hack for Earthbound that Toby Fox did, and he had a really hard boss fight in it that used that sound. So then, when he was creating music for Homestuck, they were doing a really hard boss fight. He remixed it for Homestuck, and then when he released his own video game and he had a really hard boss fight, he used it again. So it's the famous one is a remix of a remix of a remix.
Of a remix.
That people have then remixed and remixed and remixed. So I think the song doesn't actually exist in an original form anymore. It is just an Inception-like loop of remixes.
I believe that. I think Sakurai called him and was like, listen, I need this song for Smash. What do you want to make it happen? He's like, I want a character. I want a stage. I want to, have you over my house to play Smash with me.
and then all of these things happened.
And he's like, done.